It's just like the other day when we had problems between the then director of criminal investigation, Mr. Kinoti, and the then director of public prosecution, Yusuf Haji. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate it happened. And if you look at the team that is there today, if you look at the director of public prosecution and you look at the director of criminal investigation today, I think they behave better than those two. They behave better than those two. And that is why, that was the purpose of my recording today. Because in Kenya, you have any problem, people come up with a solution. Let us change the law. Let us change the law, the act. But I'll have to tell you that we don't have to change the law. We don't have to change the act. We have to change the characters. We have Michuki. He was the Minister for Internal Affairs. Michuki was even at one time the Minister for Transport. We have Saitoti. He died when he was the Minister for Internal Affairs. We even had Matiang'i. You can see these people when they were in the Ministry of Internal Affairs. They did their job so well, effortlessly. So the problem is not the office, the problem is the person. They did it so well without changing the law. So we should resist any attempts to, whenever we have anything, we change the law. If you look at their wars, it was just purely an ego war. Ego war. Kinot was notorious for fixing evidence and whatever. You will notice that there was a police officer who was called Kuria Obadia. Kuria Obadia went on record on saying that he was ordered by Kinoti to write a statement implicating Rigiji. Although I also blame the so-called Kuria Obadia, because police, unlike other disciplined forces, Kenya police, you are taught, if there is something that you believe that the order you are being given or instructions are unlawful, the police protects you by refusing to follow that. And that is why it is a disciplinary offense within the police service if you disobey a lawful command. If you disobey a lawful command. But if you are given an unlawful command, the police covers you. You have to ignore it. We have also another case where you remember there was the AP sergeant who used to guard the Harambee House annex, who died. When the detectives, scenes of crime, went to the place of the crime, they believed that, I think he was called Sergeant Kemei. When they went to the scene of death, they believed that he was still alive. So they took him and they were rushing him to the hospital. But somewhere on the way, they realized that he's dead. What did Mr. Kinoti do? Mr. Kinoti ordered them to take the body back to the servants' quarter where he had died, and he was going to meet them there. So when they went back, he recreated the scene. He told them to place the body the way they found it. And then he told the scenes of crime to take the picture of that is unethical. That is unethical because let me talk to those who are not professionals. Take it at first, they took Kemei out of the scene of the incident when they had reason to believe that he was alive. When they had reason to believe he was alive. If they had reason to believe that he's already dead, they should not have interfered with. So they believed he was alive. But on the way to the hospital, they believed that he was no longer alive. The thing that a police officer is supposed to do, a police officer is supposed to take that body to the morgue for post-mortem. Him instructing them over radio call to go back, to where to where he died was illegal. The other thing is when you find a body, and you know it is dead, maybe the scenes of crime has not come with the cameras and whatever, but you suspect something is behind this. He's lying on something. Then you can pull him to see if there is something hidden there or to remove something that is behind his back. But in most cases, you are discouraged to interfere in any way in the scene of crime, especially scene of homicide. But he instructed them to do that. He instructed them to do an illegality. And as I've said in the police, you are not bound to follow an illegal whatever. So they set up the scene. Another thing that he was happening that he did not know is that when they went to that house, to that room, he was talking to the scenes of crime. The door was not properly locked, and somebody had a camera and recorded him. You see, now he was instructing them. I've already said in this such places. I've already said such places why I've already recorded before why it is. You go there with an open mind. If you are an investigator officer, even the officer who sent you to investigate a case, I said it is only you because you know you are not there, and Zakomba, the Almighty, whom you know cannot do that. Any other person is a suspect. So these investigators, when they were being told by Kinoti to go and rearrange the Nini, they could even start believing that he could even be connected to the death. But so the camera showed him telling those people, if you can remember, he was pointing this and then trying to recreate, trying to get into the mind of the investigators so that when they open the investigation file, they come to a predetermined. Now, imagine he's getting a message through radio call that Sergeant Keme is dead, and he wants people, everybody to go back and he wants to tell them where the bullet entered and how that person fell. Decision that he had already made before even visiting the scene. And that is why he was telling the people, return the body, do whatever, so that that was very bad. Kinoti was also, he used to use press to press Haji. He would go to the press, call the journalist and try to indicate that this case is this way and that, whatever, so that the journalist can pressurize Haji to approve the investigation, this and that, whatever, with a predetermined decision. I would want to say that unfortunately for the police service, we had the worst team there at that time. We had the worst team because if you look at Mutiambai was generally a ceremony inspector general. He was more like one among the overall. The current Kanja, my village mate, they were Barea Kaja from Madeira West. You can see the way the other three present themselves before him. But during Mutiambai's time, I think it is also has to do with his long stay in NIS. It made it, and NIS has proven to It has always been producing, like Hinga. We have been producing some of the best, and this small man, who is Boynet. Hinga and Boynet are some of the best police bosses Kenya has ever produced. But Mutiambai was somebody who by nature was softy, and deputies used to overrule him. Uh, there was even a funny few instances where each threatened the other one to arrest the other. And they were trying to, crime is going up because uh, the other one is not doing his job properly. But at first, they were very bosom friends. They were very much so close that that is the 2018 when they were both appointed. You remember Fridays. People used to go home on for weekends on Thursdays because there was Kamata Kamata Friday. And then they reached a place where even the DPP, okay, the DPP, first of all, that position is there in law, uh, but in constitution, the constitution says that there'll be a DPP, and the constitution says that there'll be an inspector general of police and his two deputies. So the director of CID is of the same job group with the DIGs, but his position is not held, is not respected, or it is not recognized by the constitution. It is not known by the constitution. So that is, and when these two people started differing, that is when the DPP now, the DI, was saying that according to the constitution, I don't know this fellow. I give instructions to his boss. You see, that one is a very strong thing. Although it is true, but it is a strong debate. That I give instructions to the Inspector General. So if I give instructions to the Inspector General, how do you consider the Director of Criminal Investigation to be my equal? Uh, I knew Kinoti personally. I knew Kinoti personally, and I want to play the devil's advocate. I think Kinoti had a problem. The Kinoti's problem started on two ways. First of all, there was the shooting incident where he was where he nearly died. There was the shooting incident, and then there is also the problem that Major General Hussein Ali had with the then director of CID. I think those things, when people talk, they say, when did the rain start beating us? I think the effective police officers ceased being there. Now, what happened was he was first of all, I knew him in the year 2000. The year 2000, we had a blackout. We used to have a problem in Nairobi, a problem to do with the electricity. It reached a time when people used to have electricity for 8 hours. It has never happened, and I don't think it will ever happen. We used to have 8 hours of electricity. Uh, so everybody was divided into three. Everybody was divided into three. Shift A, shift B, shift C, and each shift. Now, imagine your shift starting at midnight and ending at 8 a.m. Then the other one starts at 8 a.m. ending at 5 p.m. And then this one from 5 to midnight. Things improved. When things improved, we had two shifts, A and B. So today, you don't have electricity during daytime. Tomorrow, you'll have it during daytime. And then things. So he somewhere in Riruta Satellite, Ngotho Road, near Beyetu Supermarket, he started a shop for young unemployed boys from his place. He assisted them to start a paraffin selling business. And I also used to meet him when he was the PA to the director of criminal investigation. He was a very good fellow. But then There was an incident, I don't know which one came first, but there was an incident when he was in the anti-robbery team, where while he was going home, he saw some gangsters with a firearm. I don't know when this one happened. I'm getting old and it's a long story. When he was passing somewhere, he saw a woman. There are some two people, something, who had who was holding a pistol and robbing her. He came out, shot those two people. What he did not know was that there are other people who are aside, other gangsters. So they shot him several times, and in fact, his intestines even came out. And from that time onwards, he was placed on strong medication. I think this one happened before he became the personal assistant to the DCI. Uh, and then when he became the personal assistant to the DCI, uh, there was a power struggle between the then DCI. Was it Dr. Karanja? I can't recall, but he had a PhD in criminology. He differed with Major General Hussein, things that led to Mamluki. Then Hussein decided to transfer him. Hussein decided to transfer him from DCI and made him the OCPD courier. And he offered to resign. Because he could not be far. He wanted to work within Nairobi, next to his doctors. When he wrote a letter of resignation, said, I can't work away. I want to work near my doctors. So if I have to go there, I'm resigning. Major General disregarded the letter and transferred him to other duties within the city. I think that shooting may have affected him. Otherwise, he was a very competent fellow. Uh, Viewers, that is what I wanted to talk about, that we change the laws. We don't change the laws, but we change the personalities. You can see today when this, apart from this abduction, I think these two people are working well, the Director of Public Prosecution and the Director of CID. They are not cartoonists like those who were there before them during Kinoti's time. With those few remarks, thank you.